All right, we are going to learn how to write seventh chords. So seventh chords are when we add a seventh note to the basic triad. So it's important that you understand the way intervals work within chords. When we write intervals are worked out from the root note. All right, so if I do a triad, then just get rid of it. If I do a triad, I have a root note, and then I add a third above, and I add a fifth above. If I want to make a seventh chord, then I add a seventh above. Notice the terminology, C major 7, right? So that's a standard approach to the way chords are named. You have to be able to understand your intervals above the root note. Otherwise, you're not getting with the program, as we say. All right, so there's one set of numbers. Intervals are based on letter names. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. A C to an E is a third. And in intervals, we have major thirds and minor thirds, diminished thirds, augmented thirds, but all thirds. So whenever you go from a C to an E, it's a third. Same, we have a fifth above, and if we're doing seventh chords, we have a seventh above as well. And if you're not good with the lines and spaces, it's pretty easy, because once you find the root note, if you want a seventh chord, it's just line, 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 line. Or if it's on a space, if the root note's on a space, I've just changed the chord there, then it's space, 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 which makes it all very easy. Okay. Now, when we have seventh chords, we need to understand what the interval profile is. Now, it's important to start with C major 7, because C major 7 is based entirely off the major scale. So if you know the major scale of the root note, then the notes of C major, the notes of a major seventh chord will relate to the scale. In this case, I'm going off C major 7 to start off with to make it nice and easy. So here is the interval pattern then that will produce a major seventh chord. It requires a major third. So from the root note, we need a major third, we need a perfect fifth, and we need a major 7. So those intervals are consistent with C major scale. So C major 7 and C major scale are consistent with each other. All right, so there I've done it. I don't have anything to alter. I have all the notes belonging to C major scale. So C to E is a major third. C to G is a perfect fifth, and C to B is a major 7. So major scales have major intervals. You really have to get hold of that, and you need to know that, because the major scale is a default. And from there, you can very easily work out everything else. All right, we come to C7, and we commonly refer to this as a dominant seventh. So I'll just write that as well, I think, because that's how we often talk about it. The dominant word, C7, the dominant seventh chord comes from being the fifth chord in a key. But when we're looking at contemporary music, we're just looking at chords by themselves and not in any functional context. So we call it dominant seventh. That's the name it is because of the way it is derived within the context of a key. But for now, we're not really looking at that. We just want to know what the interval profile of a dominant seventh is. Well, here it is here. It's almost the same as the major seventh, except the seventh interval is lowered to become a minor seventh. So take C major scale, lower the seventh note, and you'll be able to form the C dominant seventh. So let me write that one in. So it starts from C. We need a major third. Well, from C major, that's an E and G. But instead of a natural B, that would be a major seventh. as C major helps us to understand. So to get a minor seventh, I need to lower the B a semitone, so that'll become B flat. There's C dominant seventh. So I'll go through and complete these now. So C minor 7 has a minor third, perfect fifth, and a minor seventh. So if we go up a third, C to E is a major third, but we need a minor third, so we'll lower that to E flat. Now we need a fifth above, so perfect fifth above C is G, and then we need a minor 7, which we know from here. So the minor 7 will be the, oops, hang on, I need to, there we go, and turn that into a B flat. There we go. All right, so the minor 7th has the minor third, the perfect fifth, and the minor 7th. And so the minor third and the minor 7th are just alterations from what you would see in the original major scale. C half diminished, or sometimes, I should actually show you, sometimes this is C minor 7 flat 5. That's another name for this. And I want to point out, notice the terminology here. C minor 7 flat 5. So here's a recognition in our chord naming that this is in fact the way we name intervals, and therefore the way chords are constructed. So they're the same chord. So different traditions can sometimes use different naming formats. Anyway, let's write this one. So C, we need a minor third above, so that'll be an E flat. But this time we need a diminished fifth. Well, we know what a perfect fifth is from C major scale. That's just G. Except here now we're going to need a G flat to get our diminished fifth. And our minor 7 is our B flat, as we've already worked out. Now we come to the tricky one, which is C diminished 7th. And we have a bit of an issue with this chord. It is a symmetrical chord, and so there's going to inevitably become spelling problems with this. But we'll just press on and we'll just deal with it, and hopefully I won't freak you out with the answer to this. So we have a minor third above the C. We need a diminished fifth. So we're getting good at that. That's the G flat. But now we need a diminished seventh. Now we know that B flat is the minor 7th above C. But now I'm going to have to crawl in here. We have to lower it again. So it's going to be B double flat. Now that's horrific. And hopefully the sight of a double flat you haven't passed out on the floor. But the issue with this is that you will see people not use the double flat, and in fact they'll end up just using the A. And that's really confusing. From a theoretical point of view, it's a nightmare, because how am I supposed to understand that a diminished 7th ends up being the A above C? Well, the major 7th is the B natural, the minor 7th is the B flat, and then the diminished 7th is the B double flat. But B double flat is the same as the note A. So inevitably you will see people use an A. All right, so I've gone through all the common chord types. You can create all sorts of 7th variations. There's a minor major chord and some other ones, but I just want to get down the main basic ones here. Right, let's go to E flat major. I just want to pick another key. So let's do this. So E flat major. I should use a proper flat sign. Let's be sophisticated here. E flat major. So that'll be our key. What's the key signature of E flat major? So we can write that out. So We need our rhyme backwards. So battle ends up to E already. Battle ends one more and. So battle ends and. So it's got 3 flats. Let me write out the notes here. So E, E flat. We've got an F. We've got a G. I'm writing the notes of the scale out here just so that when you see me work things out, you'll be able to reference the notes in the scale, because I think it'll help you. And E flat. So there you go. I've written the notes out so that it will help us work this one out. I'll just move this up a bit. And I might also, because I think it helps, 1, 2, I'm just numbering the notes. Because it's what we do in music. We number things. 6, 7. Oops, my numbers don't line up very well, do they? Can I do better with the 6? No, I don't think I can. Well, there we go. 6, 7, 8. Sorry about that. My spacing looks really weird, but anyway, you get the idea. Right, so, and I'll draw the notes here. So we need E flat. Oh, good grief. My coordination skills here are pretty bad. So G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat. All right, so there's the notes of the scale and you'll be able to see those. So it's got my software program here has put a natural sign in. I'm just going to hide that. It's only because I was having diminished fifths up here. So anyway, there we go. And I'll number them as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm using the scale, as you can see. It's going to be a reference. Now I'm going to have to do these chords. So we're going to do E flat major 7. We're going to do E flat 7. We're going to do E flat minor 7. Good grief. That'll be interesting. And we're going to do E flat half dim, or minor flat 5. And then we're going to do E flat dim 7. Goodness gracious me. See if we can figure that out. All right, now I'll show you, hopefully, how easy this is. Because you see, for the key signature of E flat major, battle ends and, oops, using my Father Charlie saying, Father Charlie goes down and ends battle, battle ends and down goes Charlie's father. You can learn to say all the key signatures off the top of your head in 1 second if you practice it. I have another video somewhere in there about how to do that. So if you can say the flats of a particular major scale off the top of your head, then you have all the information you need off the top of your head, right? And theory is about working things out. All right, here we go. So E flat. So E flat major 7, we need all major intervals above E flat. So they're here, 1, 3, 5, 7. So you can see from the major scale how we form a chord from a scale. The first, the third, the fifth, and the 7th notes of the scale will form the chord. So I can add the third above, the fifth. Now the fifth needs to be B flat, because that'll be a perfect fifth above. And the D will be the major 7th above E flat. The major scale tells me that, right? So being able to understand the major scale does a lot of work for you when you're working these chords out, because it tells you what major intervals are. All right, so there's E flat major 7. Now I need E flat 7, and that formula is major 3rd perfect 5th. So see the reference here. Major 3rd perfect 5th minor 7th. So I'll grab some notes here. So we've got E flat, G, B flat, but instead of having a D natural, I now need to lower the D a semitone to become D flat. And there's E flat 7. Now, E flat minor 7. Well, starts out the same. So we've got E flat, but instead of a major 3rd, I need a minor third. So I'm going to lower the G natural that I would see in E flat major scale. I'm going to lower that down to G flat now to give me a minor third. Now, perfect fifth, and I need my minor 7, which I know is a D flat because the major 7 is the D natural. All right, so we're doing pretty good here. Keep going. Our E flat half diminished or minor flat 5. E flat has a minor third, so that's going to be the G flat. And the perfect fifth, except now we have a diminished fifth. So you can see what a mess this is going to be. So that's going to be B double flat to get a diminished fifth. Perfect fifth in this instance is E flat to B flat. So E flat to B double flat is the diminished fifth. Now the minor 7th was the hang on a sec, just put the note there. So the major 7th was the D natural, wasn't it? Minor 7th is the D flat. So we need a normal minor 7th for the half diminished. So that's all good. And again, has to be said, for that B double flat, you will see people just write an A because they just don't like the side of a B double flat. I don't mind the side of a B double flat myself. All right. Here we go. E flat. Now for this one, we've got minor third, diminished fifth, and diminished 7th. So this isn't going to look good at all. E flat, G flat, B double flat. Oh, good grief, I missed a note. Hang on, I need one of those. I'll put it down and then I'll make the double flat. Now we need a diminished 7th. Well, it's going to be... I've done it again. All right, let's add a third above. D flat, but what we're going to have to do here is lower the D flat another semitone and we get D double flat. Okay, so D natural was the major 7, the one in the major scale. So D natural was the major 7, D flat is the minor 7, and then D double flat is the diminished 7th. Right, one step lower than minor. So there it is. I hope you've been able to follow this. But that's how you can pick any 7th chord. These are the 5 common ones. And if you're going through chord charts, this will cover you pretty easily. All right, so I hope that's made sense. And I'll see you in the next one. See ya. Bye.